There are defeats that hurt for a few days, and then there are defeats that change how an entire tournament is remembered. For Brazil, the round of 16 against Norway became exactly that. Millions of Brazilian fans watched in disbelief, while supporters from countries like Bangladesh, where Brazil enjoys one of the world's most passionate fan bases, stayed awake through the night hoping for another Seleção victory. Instead, they witnessed one of the biggest shocks of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. For almost 80 minutes, Brazil looked like they had everything under control. They created opportunities, survived dangerous moments, and seemed only one finish away from taking complete control of the match. But football has one brutal rule. If you fail to punish your opponent, eventually your opponent punishes you. And when your opponent has Erling Haaland, you rarely get a second chance. How did Brazil lose a game they should have been winning? Why wasn't Vinicius Jr. trusted with the crucial penalty? How did Norway suddenly take over midfield after halftime? And why did Andreas Schjelderup completely change the rhythm of the match the moment he came on? By the final whistle, Brazil's World Cup dream was over. Neymar's international career had reached its emotional conclusion, and Norway had produced one of the greatest victories in its football history. Before we break everything down, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more World Cup stories. Brazil entered the knockout stage carrying enormous expectations, even though their performances throughout the tournament had raised serious questions. A draw against Morocco failed to convince anyone. A comfortable 3-0 victory over Haiti came with a disappointing second half. Another 3-0 win over Scotland restored confidence, before a difficult 2-1 knockout victory against Japan suggested that Carlo Ancelotti's team was finally finding its identity. The biggest emotional storyline, however, surrounded Neymar. Injuries had limited his tournament, and everyone knew this was likely his final World Cup. Every appearance carried the weight of a legendary career approaching its final chapter. Yet there was one tactical issue that followed Brazil throughout the competition. Many of the tournament's strongest teams were built around maximizing their biggest stars. Argentina constantly searched for Messi. France designed attacks to free Mbappe. England relied heavily on Harry Kane and Haaland. Norway's entire attacking system existed to create chances for Haaland. Brazil never truly did the same for their own stars. Instead, Ancelotti continued with a transition-based system built around counterattacks rather than sustained possession, asking the team to defend deeper before attacking quickly. Norway's journey looked very different. Returning to the World Cup after a 28-year absence, they landed in one of the tournament's toughest groups. They crushed Iraq 4-1 with Haaland scoring twice, defeated Senegal 3-2 with another brace from their superstar, rotated players during an expected defeat against France, then secured qualification by beating Ivory Coast late in the group stage. Simply reaching the round of 16 was already considered a success. Facing 5-time world champions Brazil, almost nobody expected Norway to control the match. But inside the Norwegian camp, confidence was growing. With Martin Odegaard orchestrating play alongside Patrick Berg and Sander Berge, their midfield believed they could dominate possession long enough to supply Haaland with opportunities. Early on, though, Brazil looked far more dangerous. Their quick transitions repeatedly exposed Norway's defensive line. Vinicius Jr., Gabriel Martinelli, and Matheus Cunha all found promising spaces. And then came the biggest opportunity of the first half. Matheus Cunha earned a penalty. Most fans expected Vinicius to step forward. Instead, Bruno Guimarães took responsibility because he had been the team's most reliable penalty taker during training. Despite having taken very few penalties in competitive football, the coaching staff trusted him. It proved to be a costly decision. His effort lacked both power and placement, allowing Norway's goalkeeper to make a save that shifted the emotional balance of the match. Brazil continued creating chances, but they couldn't find the finish. Norway, meanwhile, survived. And surviving against superior opponents often gives belief. During halftime, Norway's coaching staff recognized something Brazil had failed to notice. Every Brazilian attack left large spaces behind the midfield. Casemiro struggled to recover quickly, Danilo frequently found himself caught high up in the pitch, and defensive transitions became increasingly vulnerable. The response was immediate. Andreas Schjelderup entered the game. Oscar Bob also came on. Those substitutions transformed everything. Fresh legs increased Norway's intensity, passing became quicker, and suddenly Brazil were chasing the ball instead of controlling the match. Brazil still had one golden opportunity. Endrick found himself one-on-one with the goalkeeper shortly after entering. It was exactly the type of counterattack Brazil had been waiting for all evening. He couldn't convert. That miss became the turning point. With Brazil unable to extend their lead, or even take one, Norway grew stronger every minute. Their possession climbed dramatically. Brazil retreated deeper. Instead of pressing higher, the Seleção accepted long periods without the ball. That decision invited constant pressure. Alisson produced several excellent saves to delay the inevitable, but football rarely forgives repeated defensive mistakes. Schjelderup found space on Brazil's vulnerable right side, exploited the gap, and delivered a perfect ball toward Haaland. The Norwegian striker needed only one clear chance. He finished with ruthless precision. Suddenly, Brazil were chasing the game. Even Neymar's introduction couldn't restore balance. Instead, Brazil became even more disorganized defensively, as Norway comfortably circulated possession, controlling nearly 70% of the ball for long stretches. The confidence completely shifted. Norway no longer looked like underdogs. They looked like the better team. As Brazil desperately searched for an equalizer, another opportunity fell to Casemiro. Rather than sliding a simple pass toward teammates in better positions, the decision-making failed once again, and the last opportunity disappeared harmlessly. The whistle ended far more than a football match. It closed Brazil's World Cup campaign. It marked Neymar's farewell to the national team after an unforgettable international career. And it confirmed Norway's greatest modern football achievement. Haaland finished the night level with